Okay, cool, pare.
All right.
So this is StreamYard. Awesome.
Yeah, man. So
All
convenient.
right.
There's another way of doing this. Have you tried OBS before?
Dude, I am just a super noob at this. You know what I mean? All I have is like my ideas, my content. I have over 30 topics to discuss. I've got like a list of guests I want to have. I've got like
That's so cool.
messages I want to express and goals to accomplish, you know what I mean? But all of the technical stuff is where I kind of need help, you know what I mean? I even have an office that is just like in Strata, my office for what was my business is now like just blank and waiting for something. You know, I've got a conference room with a conference table that I could set up at
Mm,
eventually. You know what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
for
you and I could
interviews.
do a show together, bro.
Yeah, bro. Why not, man?
You know what I
Uh,
mean?
you're
So
more than welcome to come in when we do Istoryang Futbolero. It's something that I we started last year
yeah,
around this time. Actually, it's our anniversary this well today. What day
yeah.
is
Is
it
this
today?
the link, the one you just sent?
Yeah, I sent you the link. That's the one.
So that's the one I can share, right? Okay,
Mm.
cool.
Grabe, 1 year na tong Istoryang Futbolero, bro. I started this with a few teammates from Ateneo. So we started blogging last year, and then it became like a sort of like a political blog. So we talk about the issues of the week, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's interesting. That's
But
super cool. Congrats,
some
by
of
the way, pare.
cool, man. All right, I think we're all set, bro.
All right, all right. Yeah, I'm just tagging people to
Sure,
watch and
sure,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
your
allowed to
thing, do your
curse,
thing.
right? Sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not
anything
much of a
goes, man.
cursor, but I'm not much of a cursor, but when I talk, some shit
Anything
comes out.
goes,
Yeah.
anything goes, bro. Free for all to. Walang
All right,
problema.
cool. All
All right,
right.
so,
No more
so
distractions. Let's go. Let's get straight to it, dude.
yeah, hang on. Okay.
I'm just silencing my phone. Anyway, so
All right, here we go. That's how we roll, brother. Welcome to
yeah,
Historia
yeah.
Futbolero. Welcome to Historia Futbolero. My name is Ron Poblete. My special guest for tonight is Mr. Paolo.
Thanks for
Paolo.
having me, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
Paolo. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
yeah,
Uh,
dude.
it's been a while, man.
It's good to
Paolo
see you,
Soler.
bro. It's been
Yeah,
years. I thought you were in Davao
yeah, that's
this whole time.
funny. Yeah, when you asked me about that the last time we spoke, I was surprised that you didn't know that I was in Manila. Ganun
Yeah, but you
nakatagal,
were
bro.
there, right? Pero pumunta ka
Uh,
doon for a while.
pumunta ako doon last year, probably January before the pandemic. Um,
Okay.
but for just a few weeks lang. And then I came back right away. Hindi ako nagtagal.
Man, it's been a long time, bro, since hanging out in Kim's apartment in Paragon where you used to work. Which
Yeah.
radio stations you did? Which radio stations were you on? You were on,
So, yeah, I was on 99.5 RT before. Diba?
dude.
Those were the
That
days.
was, yeah, man. You know, it felt like college, even though it was beyond college. Hanging out there, those were good times, bro.
But let me
So yeah, I've
introduce you.
been,
Let me
yeah.
introduce you properly, though, for the
All right.
benefit of our viewers on Historia Futbolero. Paolo Soler. I met this guy when my friend, our common friend Kim, used to enjoy surfing, and we went to this place called what's this place in Taytay that we frequent?
Yeah, it's called Club Manila East, dude. Club
Club
Manila
Manila
East
East.
Resort.
So if you
Yeah.
want to learn how to surf, that's the place to go. And then that's where I met Paolo Soler. Paolo Soler is one of the foremost uh, um, surf instructors in the Philippines. He has like
Titos
a
of
surf
surfing.
titas of surfing, ba?
Well,
and
now I
if,
am.
if I may say so, you're also the one of the kilabots of the surfing industry because as you can tell, habulin to si Paolo Soler, mga kaibigan. So
Well, back in the day, back in
Back
the
in the
day,
day,
kaya
no?
ko sabihin yun, no? Pero
Back in the day, bro.
kailangan din natin tanggapin na medyo ube-edad na tayo, pare. So,
Tito na talaga, tito
oo.
moves na ngayon, tito na lang
Oo,
talaga.
pare. Actually, kinarir ko na nga pagkatito ko. So I'll talk about that a little later. Yeah, but you're right, man. It's surfing has been my entire like life actually in terms
Mm,
of like my passion and my livelihood. Yeah, bro. When we met, that was about 12 years ago when I started the surfing education program at the wave pools of this resort just in the outskirts of the city in
yes.
Taytay, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, can you imagine? I've been doing that for well over a decade. And our friend Kim actually learned to surf there, and that's how we got close. And then the rest is history, bro. Now
Alam mo,
Kim lives in
in
Siargao.
Siargao. You know, I can imagine the people you sort of influence in getting into surfing, and now they're, in the beaches, in
Yeah,
some of the,
that's the best. That's the
and
best
now they
part of the
live
job.
near the ocean
That's
now
the
because of you.
that's the best part of the job. I'm that's if there's something that's super rewarding about being a teacher. I mean, in any industry or any subject that you're teaching, it's something about seeing how you benefited the lives of certain individuals. But like, yeah, in this case, it's crazy how the simple uh, game of surfing, the simple recreational activity of surfing can sort of change like the lives of people. Like, tama ka pare, lumipat pa si Kim dun sa Siargao. Tapos yung mga ibang estudyante ko, mga pamilya, may lupa na't bahay tsaka resort sa mga lugar tulad ng Baler, di ba?
Galing, no?
It's pretty interesting, man. Ang problema, ako pa rin stuck dito sa Manila.
Hindi, paano, meron ka rin kasing, I don't know if you can call it a day job or a business that you're running as well here in Metro Manila, so you can't be permanently stationed in the province. I understand what your
Yeah,
predicament, pal. And
yeah.
it's a good thing you joined us tonight kasi yung papag-usapan natin ngayon, uh, si Paolo kasi mga kaibigan, itong kaibigan ko na to, talagang very outspoken to about anything. If you talk about issues with him, he'll be frank and straightforward. Hindi walang paligoy-ligoy yung tao na to. So,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
perfect guy to talk about stuff. And to be honest with you guys, it's been a while since we last spoke, Pao, diba? And
Oh yeah, long time.
we never talk about politics before. We
Mm-hmm,
do
mm-hmm.
siguro sometimes because we know some people who work in
Yeah, well,
government, but
yes. Well, before, I mean, like, especially when we were both openly, like, pushing for pidots for Duterte, diba? When he
yeah,
was
man,
campaigning
2016,
and stuff,
yeah.
like, todo bigay tayo nun, diba? Todo. But like, other than that, we never really talked about politics, man.
No,
You know what I mean?
we weren't even interested in talking about politics because of the plain and simple fact that we are helpless when it comes to politics or government. Kasi parang it's the same attitude of most people before. Na pag pinag-usapan mo ang government, parang useless eh. Kasi ganyan talaga sila, di ba? Paano mo
Yeah.
babaguhin yung corrupt na sistema? Parang ganun yung mindset natin eh. So you just rather not discuss it. And it's one of the top three ba? Pao, would you know top three topics that you don't discuss with anybody you just met? Like
Well,
religion is part of, di ba? Religion is a no-no, or talking about politics is another thing.
yeah,
That
well, I've
can
sort of evolved, like in my political whatever what you call it, like my opinion
oh,
has evolved quite a lot, bro. Like you know what I mean through personal experience and stuff. And like yeah, I wouldn't say it's something that I'd like to talk about as much as when we were pushing in the beginning and stuff. But like right now, like there's so much more to worry about. And also, if like we get into this topic, I'd also like to share my opinion on what's happened and what made me change that mindset.
sure,
Also,
yeah.
parang di ba? So you first, man. Sorry, I
Yeah,
interrupted.
okay, well, before we continue our conversation, let me just acknowledge our early birds, the viewers who decided to listen in, right away. Sila, um, si Maria from Japan. Good evening, Sir Ron and Paulo. Nina De Leon from Quezon City. Si Marisaf Caballejo. Good evening po sa inyong dalawa, Sir Ron and Sir Paulo. An OFW all the way from Hong Kong, man. So
Oh,
Marisol,
cool.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Tapos
Hi, Nina. Yeah.
si Yolanda Inong, good evening, Sir Ron and Sir Paolo watching from Capas, Tarlac. Nice.
Ooh.
Si Don Pilonio is also watching. And thank you so much for enjoying the program every night we go on air. Actually,
Hi,
Pao,
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
karamihan
Mhm.
ng viewers natin, Pao, dito, puro mga maraming OFWs. So sometimes from a different time zone, they would tune in. And it makes you, a little bit happy to know that you have our fellow Filipinos
Yeah, yeah. Listening
diba?
from all over, huh? That's
Listening from all
super
over.
cool, Ron. Thanks,
Diba?
guys, for tuning in. We'll
So,
try to
so
keep this as interesting as possible, pare.
oh, naman, don't worry, Pao. Ikaw, as yourself, you are a very interesting guy to talk to. Ito si Pao,
Mhm.
kasi ano to kumbaga, you've always been the fun guy in the group, diba? Wala ka talagang, wala kang hindi ka
My
hassle, bro,
energy.
kasama. You have a positive vibe all the time, man, when you're joining the group, when we're hanging out. So, and these were
Cool, cool.
our Siyempre, grabe no? What, 5 years? It's been 5 years, bro, since the last time we spoke to each other. I think the last time we had a chance to engage is yung elections, 2016.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's been a while, and ang daming nangyari, pero parang ang bilis, di ba? Pero ang daming nangyari, no?
dami,
So
dami
much has
talaga.
happened. Ang daming
Ah,
nangyari sa lahat ng buhay ng tao. Like, ang daming, yung mga kakilala natin na ang daming nagbago, ang daming development and progress na nangyari sa lahat. So,
correct.
like, wow, even for yourself, you know what I mean? Your career has like boomed a lot from those DJ days. You know what I mean? I'm still doing the stuff I was doing when I met you, but like, I have a establishment now in like in Zambales at a surf spot. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So
mm.
that's one thing that really kept me busy. And like even with our friends, diba? Ang daming nangyari.
I've
What a half a decade for us, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been, I guess we've come to that point where we've gotten older, I guess, and now I'd like to think we're wiser. Maybe it opened our eyes because before when we were we used to hang out before. Talagang very short-sighted pa yung ating mga ideas noon pa eh. Although I know
Oh,
for a fact, matagal ka ng entrepreneur, bro. You've been, you've been coming up with ideas on how you've run a business for more than a decade already, and you've been very
mm-hmm.
successful. So,
Yeah,
eh,
yeah. It's always been my thing, man. Entrepreneurship and being having these crazy, wild ideas, and running as at least like you have these crazy ideas, and being able to make them realities is rewarding. It takes a long time, pero yeah, man. And you're right. Pag nung medyo short-sighted nga dati, tapos ngayon medyo mas chill na tayo ngayon, 'di ba?
mas
Hindi na
chill na,
tayo
mas
kasing
chill. Hindi na
medyo
tayo
hindi na
hindi na tayo
medyo
madaling makipag-away.
oo, tsaka oo, totoo 'yan. Tsaka yung mga ideas yun, medyo nililimit na natin. O ito muna, 'di ba? So,
Mas organized tayo mag-isip. Medyo mas
yeah.
focused na, di ba? Before kasi, every time we come up with an idea, or you remember our friend Kim, pag meron siyang idea, he just pursues it without, thinking about whatever is needed
Yeah.
to make it successful, di ba? And
Yep.
I think he's been successful that way. But now, since we've gotten older, we have more time to think about things or, dwell on things a little bit more
Yeah,
before
and then
getting
now
into it.
we realize how much of an essence is time, right? Kasi
Yes,
dati,
correct.
like 5 to 10 years ago, parang we have all the time in the world. So para sa mga nakikinig dyan na if you're in your 20s and your 30s, dude, like
Huwag niyo
kung
sayangin.
kumataw kayo sa mga ideas nyo, wag kayo, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like
Huwag
do
kayo
it, do
mag-alala,
it.
huwag kayo mag-alangan. Don't procrastinate.
Yes.
The best time to pursue your dreams is as early as 21, kung po pwede, di ba?
Yep. And
Sabi,
that's the best time kasi you will have mistakes along the way. So marami kang make up time for those mistakes, 'di ba?
correct.
Syempre pag now we're more careful now, Ron, with all the stuff we come up with. Kailangan mas sigurado, mas calculated dahil bilang na oras natin
Bilang
before
na oras,
tayo.
grabe. Sabi, mas lalo ngayon, delikado kasi may COVID, di ba?
Oh yeah.
paminsan it's hard to see all these posts coming from our friends with relatives dying,
Oh my
who had the
gosh, dude.
unfortunate circumstance of contracting COVID, and now you
Yeah.
have relatives and friends who've
This is something
passed
like
on.
that's really good that you pointed that out. I just want to express my sympathies for all those affected, man. Like, it's crazy how ang dami mong kakilala na namatayan or namatay or
Mm,
na ICU with this
tama.
virus that supposedly mababa lang yung ano niya, yung kill ratio niya mababa lang, 'di ba? Pero bakit ganyan? Ang dami pa rin natin personal na kakilala na
Tinamaan at
yeah.
matindi yung effect
Mhm.
sa kanila at saka sa kanilang pamilya. And it's a
Yeah.
scary thing. And kaya nga parati sa aming programa, Pao, sa Istoryang Futbolero, we always remind people to make sure to follow the minimum standards that's set by the DOH, kasi yung mga simpleng bagay na makikipag-usap ka sa iyong mga kapamilya or mga friends who are always interacting with other people, but since
Mhm.
you are very familiar with them, you let your guard down and you speak to them without a mask, and sometimes that's where the transmission happens, and then before you know it, the entire family is has
You know,
COVID already.
if I may share,
Yeah.
like I am a hypochondriac. Kilala mo ako, Ron, di ba? From
Yeah, man.
before. Like, paraning ako eh. Paraning ako sa
Ah,
mga ganyan bagay. Uh, Hypochondriac ako to the extent na akala ko nahawa na ako tapos magkakaroon ako ng mga symptoms, di ba? Mesomorph tawag, di ba?
yeah.
But like, so I'm so careful. Okay, so my girlfriend and I are also extra careful, right? Like dito sa bahay, bunso ako. Bunso ako sa
Mm,
family ko.
mm,
And I'm the ninth, huh? So nine kaming siblings, and like I watch out, I try my best to make sure that my dad's okay. So I live with my dad here. Sa Pasig kami.
mm.
And, so medyo senior na talaga si dad. And so ang worry ko is napaparinig ako na parang kailangan ko magbantay dito sa bahay. Although may mga help kami na nag-assist kay Pops, parang gusto ko siguradong lahat medyo, you know what I mean, sumusunod. And my girlfriend naman, she goes to work. And so parang even when she goes to work, careful na careful kami. Like if she rides a Grab, she will spray the
Mm.
Grab with her Lysol. May dala siyang malaking bote ng Lysol. Spray niya yan.
Pagpasok pa lang
At
ng sasakyan,
bukas
sinisprayan niyo yung
ang bintana.
bukas ng window.
Tapos naka-mask. Okay? Yung driver kailangan naka-mask siya, naka-mask. Yeah. Okay. I think you for a second there. Are you back?
Yeah, you're back, pal. Medyo ano ka
Sorry. I
kanina,
think I lost you
glitchy
for a
ka
second.
kanina. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry.
she'd spray Lysol when as soon as she enters the car.
Yes,
Then she takes a grab.
Lysol, and then open the door, spray the Lysol, bukas yung bintana yung importante para may airflow. So, miski
The
mainit,
ventilation.
mas okay na pawisan ka kaysa magkasakit ka. So, you know what I
Tama.
mean?
Mm.
Yung nakakainis kasi is yung mga bagong strain ngayon sobrang tindi. Diba? So kahit maingat ka, kailangan doble ingat ka. Isa pa,
Mm.
pag alam mo yung sinasabi nila, nagdo-double mask.
Mm.
So yung problema ng double mask, isipin mo meron kang mask, tapos,
Mm.
di ba may semi-permeable filter yan, di ba? Doon ka
Yes.
hihinga. Pag pinatungan mo pa ng isa pang mask, hindi na makakalusot yung hangin dyan. So
Mm.
dito siya dadaan sa mga sides, di ba? So
Tama.
so there are things that you gotta watch out for. And, that's something that I think people should take extra caution with, pare. Tapos, yung one thing I want to share lang, Ron, is I have to go to, I love going to the province, diba? I travel a lot to surf
Mm.
spots in general. Siargao, Baler, La Union, um, Sambales.
Mm.
And I'll tell you this, sorry to say, but people there in these low infection areas, low risk areas,
Mm.
they don't feel the threat that we feel here in Manila, and that's a huge concern for me because like all you need is one super spreader
Mm.
to somehow get through to this location. And if you guys aren't practicing social distancing and mask wearing, it's super risky to just kumbaga not be as careful as we are in the city, man.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's something that I'm worried about, honestly. But yeah,
People who live in Metro Manila tend to have a different reality compared
yeah,
to the ones who live in the provinces, no?
oh yeah,
Although you can differentiate siguro yung mga cities compared to the provinces. Kunyari Davao City, Cebu, Cagayan, medyo stark yung reality ng spread ng virus dun sa mga lugar na yan dahil heavily populated. Metro Manila right now is taking the brunt of all the cases, most of the cases that are being recorded on
uh-huh.
the right now globally. Sa Metro Manila nanggagaling yung ating yung numbers natin eh. Pag nakita mo yung thousands of cases of COVID dito sa Metro Manila yung ang
Yeah.
problema. Kaya siguro dapat talaga i-contain. As much as possible, we have to be very careful. We shouldn't really kaya siguro pinapagbawal rin yung pag-travel sa ibang probinsya. And even our mayor sa Davao City, si Mayor Sara, she's
Mm.
very she's
I heard
very
Davos
careful.
doing really well, right?
Oh yeah, they're doing very well. Kaya
But they're
masyado na
strict.
strict and maingat sila sa pagpasok sa Davao City kasi iniwasan nga nila na yung infection or yung carrier will be coming from outside and then will bring it in Davao tapos magkakaroon naman ng panibagong problema.
Kaya nga, so sa Davao, you're saying pati sila, like, they're wearing their mask, they're, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Despite
man.
not, yeah.
Doon talagang very, alam mo naman sa Davao, yosi lang pawa. I don't know if you've experienced this before. Sa merong mga nagkamaling mga hindi taga Davao na pumunta ng Davao at smokers and they just, they would light up a stick.
Well, I've
On,
experienced being in Davao, and I remember, like, smokers only staying in the smoking section, designated areas. And this is the time when smoking wasn't even, like, really banned here in Manila. You know what I mean?
yes.
So, like, yeah, gets ko yun. Like, and yeah, yun na nga. So that's good. That's why siguro walang nangyayari, di ba? Like in Davao, because people are already careful as it is. But my worry is, like, if you go to the provinces, like, you know what I mean? Yung probinsya talaga, pare, like, hindi talaga sila nagmamask pag sila magkasama, di ba?
Yun.
And you can't blame them because they don't have that fear. I'm not judging them or anything. I'm just expressing na concern ko ito kasi kailangan mo lang ng isang super spreader situation. And, I'm actually happy that hindi siya masyadong kumakalat, no? If am I mistaken, Ron? I'm really not up to date with the latest news on
Ang concentration talaga ng cases are here in Metro Manila and the surrounding
yeah.
provinces.
So it's great that we've let because they were supposed to open up na the travel to we were anticipating loosening the borders to Zambales because as I mentioned earlier, my business ako doon may restaurant ako doon. I have a restaurant. It's called Cafe del Liwa. We used to operate as a resort, small, very small resort. It's a small location. It's only like 500 square meters. We have about 4 kubos that are built there, and we used to accept guests regularly on the weekends. But then we decided to just stick to being a restaurant, and then we just made the kubos private. So guys, check nyo plug ko lang let's legalize it. Yeah, legalize it. Like legalize it, but Liwa because the name of the
Legalize
location.
it.
Yeah, because it's in Liwa. It's in Liwa in
Zambales.
In Zambales, in San Felipe, Zambales.
Okay.
So shout out to all my kababayan there in Zambales. So yeah.
The next question there, Pao, is you just recently came back from the province. Did you have a hard time traveling from Zambales and back?
Yes, very strict sila, especially upon entry. So unless you have, if you're a tourist, there's no way you're getting in, man. There's no way you're getting in. But if you're a resident or just make sure you got in your tests and everything. They have certain requirements. Now they're also transitioning into using special passes to get through to further enforce the protection. No, like you need to have an S pass if you're a non-tourist. If you're a returning resident, you have to have a recent RT-PCR test. And then also you have to, if you're a tourist, when they do open, which they were supposed to, they already prepared. Kailangan mo ng Visita Pass, which is like an app. And if you have a resort, you have to be registered on that Visita Pass. So kailangan mo pumasa sa lahat ng requirements. So they're doing their job, no? And we really want, we really want stuff to open up na kasi sobrang lugi na kami, pare. Sobrang lugi ng mga negosyo namin doon. Pero alam mo yung maganda, Ron? Alam mo yung maganda? So ito yung napansin ko, like you said, though, we gotta think positive, pare. Aminin ko sa'yo, ganito, nung nangyari first 2020, first part ng pandemya na to, Ron, sobrang agresibo ko sa Zambales, 'di ba? Yung restaurant namin doon, parang event space ko 'yun eh. So, isipin mo yung mga events na dinadala namin doon, na ginagawa namin doon. At one point, I had Urban Dub playing in my place, no, for an intimate gig. We had 350 people there. We did an eco-oriented event there. Na we started, Liw-Liwa kasi wasn't as popular yet back then. So we were really pushing it para sumikat siya.
Yeah.
And then meron akong event na in-invite ko naman, puro DJs naman to. We called it Libero, okay? And parang we held one already there in 2019. It was super successful. And then we had one scheduled on March 14, pare. March 14, 2020. We had sold about 300 tickets. 98% of those tickets were purchased by expats from different countries living in Makati. And we were ready to go, man. We were ready to go. And you know what I mean? So the frustration, ang laki pa ng pera na pinasok ko personal dito para meron na kaming brick oven pizza, may espresso coffee na kami. Alam mo yan, sobrang babawiin dapat namin yan nung summer ng 2020. So ito yung nangyari, 'di ba? Pero ang kagandahan nito, Ron, was nagbago ang pananaw namin lahat. Natin lahat actually, 'di ba? Dumaan lahat tayo sa depression, no? Dumaan sa anxiety, sa depression, medyo talagang what the hell are we gonna do, man? May lalo ng first 2 months nung nag-pause lahat, yung wala ka talagang income, zero na yung income mo, nagbabayad ka ng sweldo ng empleyado, nagbabayad ka ng upa, nagbabayad ka ng utilities, lahat lumalabas pero wala ka na. So medyo nasa limbo ka nung first part, 'di ba? So talagang nakaka-depress. And to be honest, nawalan ako ng mga dream jobs ko. Kung naalala mo, meron akong surfboard company. It was called Squala. So I started that in 2010. And isipin mo kung meron akong pagyayabang, well, it's my opinion, no, but I would safely say that we were number 1 locally manufactured surfboards. I was very proud of that. That was my identity. Ako yun. Yan yung Instagram account ko. Wala akong personal na Instagram account dati, di ba? So, isipin mo how that felt when I had to cut it. And then, sobrang lugi. Shout out to my suppliers na hindi pa ako sinisingil ngayon. Maraming salamat. Alam mo yon, babayaran ko kayo pag may income na. But, that's salamat sa kanila. Yung landlord ko, sobrang bait. Di na ako siningil. Alam mo yon. Tinapos ko lang yung mga orders ng surfboards namin kasi custom yan, di ba? So marami kaming orders. And pinatapos ko na lang. So I made sure my employees had full salaries. You know what I mean? And then, when I started seeing the figures, nagde-negative na kami dahil, alam mo yun, walang kita. Pero nandyan ka pa rin, gumagastos ka pa rin. Lalo na pag manufacturing, Ron, madugo. Negative ako, pare. Almost 500,000 pesos yung lugi ko doon. So, can you imagine me experiencing this? I had to close it down officially, I think September 2020. And that was tough, man. That was very tough for me. Yung restaurant sa Liw-Liwa, naka-hold yan. Nagpapakain ako, nagbibigay ako ng allowance sa mga staff ko na nandun para mag-survive sila. And yung Philippine Surfing Academy sa Taytay, obviously, di kami maka-operate dahil sarado yung resort, di ba? So, and syempre may COVID, duh. So, everything was put on hold, bro. And I just want to share, because if there's people out there, I know there are people out there who are small business owners, such as myself. Grabe, I feel for you, man. I feel for you guys, and it sucks, right? It sucks, but yung sinasabi ko, is talagang mapipilitan ka mag-innovate, right? So,
Mm.
for a while, I started selling chicken inasal, pare. You know what I mean?
I
For a
think
while,
I think I've seen some of your posts, ah.
yeah. So,
Doon ako bilib sa'yo
unfortunately,
pa eh. Hindi ka kagad na nawalan ng ano eh, 'di ba? Nawalan ng loob to
oo, tsaka
to
naka-develop. Yeah, and one good thing about that is it kept me sane. Kumita ako ng magandang pera nun, pare. At tsaka naging sane ako kasi, wow, kailangan ko magising ng alas 5. Bakit? Mag-iihaw ako, pare, di ba? Bigla na lang from doing nothing, from
right.
a black hole, bigla na lang may gagawin ka, may purpose ka ulit. So, doon ko rin na-realize how depressed I was, bro. Alam mo
Mm-mm.
yun? Kasi parang I realized, holy crap, like you really were in a gloomy box, like inside my room, just not knowing what to do and seeing everything around you collapse. And then
Right.
the simple act of cooking chicken, you know what I mean, was and making a little bit of money on the side was great, right? Well, unfortunately, I had to stop that too kasi nagdoble yung presyo ng manok, di ba? Oh man. And then
Yeah.
yung isa pang mga yun nga yung mga partner yung kabarkada ko ron pare mga ano to mga bagets mga to pare.
Mm.
Mga I think we've got a decade ahead of these kids, right? But I love these guys. They became my barkada because of mostly starting because of Liwa Lycett. They became my partners
Mm.
in developing this dream business I've had since way back, bro. And we got close and then gusto ko sila kasi ano sila, agresibo sila na entrepreneurs, bro. Mga alam mo yun, mga taga UP, mga taga Ateneo.
Okay.
Lasalista ako, pare, pero business partner ko, Ateneo yan. So, agresibo sila, pare. And like, pati sila, pare, these guys were bar owners, ha? And they lost 2 bars. You know what I mean? During the lockdown. So these were big money makers for them. One
Mm.
bar was very successful. The other one was a new investment na hindi pa nila nababawi. So these
Mm.
guys ate it, man. Okay, so yung kagandahan na yun is these guys are also dog lovers. Yung mga animal
Okay.
lovers sila, di ba? Like me. Pero ang ginawa nila, parang nag-innovate sila. Oh, you know what I mean? They put up a company called Petster.ph
Mm.
and now it's thriving. Now they're providing pet supplies online and deliver. It's crazy. It's a young company and they're doing so well. And then
Cool.
see PJ, he dropped his Manila priced apartment in the Grove here in Pasig.
Mm.
He
Mm.
dropped him and his girlfriend said, "Forget this. We're not going to pay like 30,000 pesos a month anymore for this, plus utilities, plus internet." They moved to Liwalaisip. They moved to our place in Zambales. They
Wow.
spent a they spent a little bit on those yung mga nauuso sa Instagram ngayon, para yung tiny house, like yung
Mhm.
tiny
Mhm.
house project. So gumawa sila ng sarili nilang tiny house doon mismo sa loob, and they fixed up the place and they live there now. And they work from home. They basically set up their Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? They set up their Wi-Fi. They set up the Wi-Fi there. So meron kaming 40 to 60 Mbps Wi-Fi doon.
Pwede na. Not
Um,
bad, ah.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
bad.
Actually, when I went there, kasi I came back just recently, diba? We're doing our pizza again and focus namin yung local market. So,
Mm.
I improved my recipe. Before there was inasal, there was Liwalized pizza, and I was able to work on my dough recipe. Over the lockdown. So we're gonna start again now. But yeah, going back to these guys, isipin mo ha, from owning 2 bars, from living in the Grove, which is
Mm.
sort of like pretty much upscale condo setup. Now they have a really nice place in right by the beach, and they're running their operations of Petster there, right there too. You know what I mean? And it's
Cool,
like they're
man.
living the life. You know what I mean? So that's something that and it's crazy kasi Ron, ang dami na pala na nandun. From Manila, nag-relocate na sila dun, pare. So
Okay. Yeah, you know
I
what?
have yeah.
This is not the first time I heard about this. Last year actually, meron tayong mga kakilala na who decided to move to Siargao, and they set up shop there as well. And the only problem daw talaga is when you live in the province is the Wi-Fi connection or internet connection, because that can be a little bit spotty depending on where you live in the
Yeah,
province.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
the
know,
only
I know. I
sacrifice.
heard I heard the island doesn't have the greatest internet yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
what do you call this? Yeah, like I heard you have to pay like a lot of money to get good internet there, but yeah,
Okay.
it's like it's created an exodus outside of COVID infested Manila, and it's made people innovate. With turning to the internet, going online to start earning money online. And when you have that security, at least you can take that with you wherever there's Wi-Fi, diba?
But
So,
Pao, this is not going to change anytime soon, huh? Even if we do manage to defeat COVID, if we uh, get past this pandemic, looks like it's going to be online for the meantime.
oh yeah,
Because
man.
the adjustment that the people will be making in terms of their business ideas, it's going to be online now.
Oh
Given the
yeah,
fact that anytime there's going to be a new strain of virus that's going to come out, and chances of this happening is not remote, right? Malaki
yeah,
talaga
yeah,
yung
yeah.
chance na
It's
mangyayari
changing.
to
It's
ulit.
changing everything, man. It's changing everything. People are going to be traumatized about losing so much because of one thing that just blindsided the entire damn world, bro.
Yes.
So
Well, going
it's yeah.
well, Pao, going back to our topic though, the question I posted
Hmm.
for our blog tonight sa Istoryang Futbolero. This are uh, actually it's ang ano natin, ang topic natin. Mas importante ba sa iyo ang maging tama o makatarungan? And the reason why I'm asking that question tonight for Istoryang Futbolero, because it happens so often in our conversations with people without, and if you've experienced having someone or get into an argument with somebody, chances are you could be one of those two. It's either you're the person who wants to be right all the time, or you're
Hmm.
just there to say, you know what, the right thing to do is to shut up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's right. Or also, yeah, I like that. I love that topic, Pare. It's like it it's a test of character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a test of character, and like when I was younger, I was highly opinionated until now, naman di ba? But I wouldn't listen, and I would judge people right in the beginning. It's like, and then you learn from it when you realize how much of an asshole you are, where you act, and
Yeah.
it's so what you lost a friendship because of an argument over who president you wanted to win, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Mm-hmm.
when it
Mm-hmm.
when it goes down to politics, man, it's so pathetic. It's so sad and minuscule, and so it is a test of character. Okay, before Ron, pare, like I didn't like you were right. Prior to this, we didn't really care about politics. Majority of people didn't care about politics. Why? Because it was a laughing stock. You know what I mean? You couldn't rely on anything. And then I got on a personal level, I got really affected. The first time I really got so affected was Typhoon Yolanda. Remember
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
2013 Typhoon Yolanda, sinira niya talaga yung Pilipinas, pare. And then parang doon ako may negosyo ako doon sa Calikuan Island. I do surf tours there. I've been doing surf tours there since the beginning of my surfing career. Like when I decided to teach surfing professionally, 2007 was when I did my first surf trip there. And I would bring my students there. I would organize tours there. And when Typhoon Yolanda, it was ground zero. Kalikoan was ground zero for the most powerful typhoon in the history of mankind, and it just ripped through that. So syempre, todo affected ako, di ba? And doon ko nakita na talagang ang pangit ng paghawak ng gobyerno natin. Kadire. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, gusto ko lang sabihin yan on the air, no? Tsaka kadire talaga yung ginawa nila. And that's sad. It's sad. It's a sad reality. And it's like, syempre, di ba, parang after when you lose faith in our system, what do you do? Diba? You have to do things on your own. And then
Yeah.
that was what was nice. Like that's where I saw the strength of the Filipino communities get together. The private you know what I mean? The people themselves uh, got together and gave relief goods. Got the relief goods over there. Special shout out to Jordan Sebastian, who I met with my brother on the way to Tacloban. And that guy's aggressive with what he did. He organized helicopter drop-offs for relief goods in locations that couldn't be reached. You know what I mean? So it that's when from that moment, Ron, parang dun na talaga ako naging mas in
Aware.
aware. And then that's when I started and then remember one thing, no? Si Presidente Duterte pare was the first guy to show
First,
up
one of the first responders. Yeah,
all the way
all the way
from
from Davao.
Davao. And he cleaned up the airport. You know what I mean? He fixed the airport in Tacloban. Anderson Cooper, there's a clip of Anderson Cooper saying, as you can see behind me, this is the first sign of government's action. And there are these people cleaning it. And it's Duterte's Rescue 911, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Uh,
I think I remember that.
yeah.
I, and
So,
he came to prominence
yeah.
because of that as well, diba?
Yeah.
When people started talking about Piduts, about him being a prospect or to run for 2016, that's when it started. Because when he appeared on TV, I don't remember this. When he appeared on TV, all um, downtrodden and medyo ano siya,
I remember that. I remember
diba?
that very clearly. What
Malungkot
he said.
siya. Uh,
Yeah. When he saw the bodies on the streets, he saw policemen stealing and
mm,
looting, parang ganun.
mm.
And it was just crazy, like how that happened, and then how it played out. You all know how that played out. How
Yeah,
we
man.
got blacklisted from the international community for hundreds of $100 million being stolen or stuff like that. So
And you have like Mara Rojas challenging Anderson Cooper about the
yeah, diba?
numbers that
Not Anderson. It wasn't
was it
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper
It
or
was the other
another
guy.
journalist?
He was just basically being bashed and everything, and it's just it was just such a sad sight, and I was just so affected personally, and like I didn't realize how evil people could be. You know what I mean? Until I experienced it firsthand. I would see it. I'd go to, and when in G1 when we got there, I would ask people where all the relief goods that we put together. The surfing community in Manila, for example, we filled up a C-130. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it was supposed to be there. The relief goods were supposed to be there, and I didn't see any. You know what I mean? Apparently,
Mm.
it never even made it to Giwan. It stopped at Tacloban, and something was kagulo or something, and
You know
you know
what's
what I mean?
crazy, Pao? I even experienced it firsthand. Somebody calling me up about relief goods coming from Europe. I think there was a Filipino who lived in the Netherlands who was able to get people to help get donations, and then I think he got like a container van, and then he sent all that to the Philippines, and
Mm-hmm.
no one received the relief goods
Anything.
at all. You know why? Because the customs in Cebu, they held it like for a year, man.
Yeah.
It's
So sad. It's
crazy.
pathetic. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so bad here. And like, yun na nga. So parang in the beginning, pare, di ba? So si Duterte, he decides to run, right? And we're like all, man, this guy could actually probably do something.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So,
mm.
and he did to a certain extent. Years later, he did. But I was there, like totally, like supporting him, outspoken about supporting him, and everything like that. And what's
And,
crazy, Ron, is
if we were to
oh,
base it on the circle of friends that we have that we share, we know for a fact that it's unfortunate we do have a large
well,
percentage
it's
of
not
our
even.
friends
It's not that it's unfortunate, Ron. It's unfortunate that people took it personally that we were
yeah,
on this side,
on this side. Yeah.
and and I've had friends that were just, they just didn't like that I was part of the whole pro Duterte thing. You know what I mean? Like, but like luckily enough, like
Uh,
many of those friends, hindi naman kami we
I
didn't
guess
judge each.
sobrang
Yeah,
totally,
just we just didn't talk about it, bro. One of those friends, pare, is the late Carlos Eldran. He's one of
yeah,
my
man.
good friends. One
I
of my
remember
really good
Carlos
friends.
when he was still
And
alive. He would debate anybody
yeah,
about the
but
issues, right?
the cool thing, I don't know if it's about me or whatever, but like he never debated me. He never asked me to unfriend him or whatever. We still actually talked a lot after. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We just never brought in politics. But what I don't like is what you see online, pare. You know what I mean? Yung ayoko talaga, yung mensahe na siguro gusto kong i-share ngayon gabi sa podcast mo na to is tignan na lang natin, matuto tayo maging impartial or mag-detach. Kumbaga, magkunwari kang hindi ka kasama o magkunwari kang hindi ka taga Pilipinas or wala ka sa political realm at panuurin mong mag-away ang dalawang sides, 'di ba? Pwede rin natin isipin yung nangyayari sa States. Yung mga grabe na kagulo na nangyayari sa States, 'di ba? Yung Trump versus, 'di ba, right versus left, like sobrang ba't sila ganyan? Ba't sila nag-aaway? Eh pareho lang naman yung gusto natin mangyari, 'di ba? We want the best for our country. Right? And I think what's happening is we're taking it too much on a personal level, and
We get too emotional, and then
we get too emotional and like you're so strong in the outspoken run, like you know what I mean. Like people are like, my president will do this. Yours sucks at this, and then from that angle, parang lahat ng mga opposed sa'yo, sa presidente mo, di 'di ba, aawayin ka, and that's not even thinking about the good of the country anymore. It's more of like who's your idol kind of like, argument here. Like I'll tell you now, man. I'm not so impressed. I'm not as impressed as not everything that Duterte did happened for me, man. You know what I mean? Not everything he did happened for me, and like it is disappointing, but pare, after Yolanda, I don't have any faith in like also other administrations. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody who handled the COVID situation right now are bound to screw up. You know what I mean? Anybody. So with all the chaos that's happening right now and all the bashing, it's just
well,
it's
can
it's
you
so it's
imagine this, Pao? If you were upset about the way government handled Yolanda, can you imagine that same government handling the pandemic right now?
Yes, precisely, man, precisely. Now, I'm not saying that the government now is super like on top of it. I mean, Ron, we'll just get a headache talking shit about like how things are being handled and whatever. But like what I don't like is like how they're nitpicking with each other. You know what I mean? Like, so what if somebody here says something online that he's really upset about Duterte, and like then you have what they call the DDS attacking, and the way they attack, like some of them, the way they attack, it's so like kadiri yung mga sinasabi nila, parang bata, alam mo yon, wala man lang rational way of arguing, and this is both sides, medyo dilawan ka or dirty ka. Parang said like in the beginning of this conversation, Ron, it shows you what kind of person you are, diba? How you argue, or what's your logic, what's your approach to logic. I mean, mumurahin mo na lang kaagad, diba? Bakit ba
Wala nga
kailangan
pag ano lang, pag nakita nila na you're supporting us one side of the argument, ang hataw kagad is bobo ka siguro. Gago ka, tanga ka.
Yeah.
Ganun kagad yung banat sa'yo eh.
Yeah.
And what makes it ridiculous is the fact that once you start with that type of conversation where you are aggressive right away, no one's gonna listen to each other. No one's gonna listen to you because you started on the wrong foot, right? You're attacking me right away. So how can I listen to your point of view if you attack me? Ang nakita ko kasi my observation in the last 5 years that we were regularly involved helping the government is that in 2016 when the president won, one side didn't really accept his winning. And it's been a tug of war ever since. And what they did is in the first year of the president when he stepped in, June of 2016, wala na, banat na sila kagad ng banat, Pao, in the hopes that they can topple the government. Now,
I remember, yeah.
Di ba remember that? Ang problema kasi, because of the toxicity, syempre, you attack...
Toxicity, yeah.
You attack the government, no? You're attacking the president. You want to remove him from power. In the first few months of his administration, naturally, the people who supported him, which is a large population, will react to what you're doing. So ever since, it's been like, tanggalin na si Duterte, useless siya, dami mga kabastusan sinasabi and then i-attack nila yung mga supporters ni Presidente. Yung mga supporters naman, they're not gonna take it lying down, man. They're gonna attack you also. So ganun nga, biglang
Yeah.
naging very toxic yung environment sa social media and you can't help but notice that it's been incessant, no? Tuloy-tuloy. For 5 straight years, ganun na nangyari.
And
So
I think
you,
that's what has to change. I think that's what has to change. I think that's what I mean. We're being fooled by these people on top. Okay, and to be fair, it's people who are, you know what I mean, doing the strategies on how to control the
the
population.
narrative,
You know what I mean?
control
Yeah,
the population and in trying to influence public opinion. That's been the battle. Diba? And it's
yeah.
happening on social media. That's the battleground. Yun yung
You know,
pinaka-battleground nila.
and the way I look at things is, this division is what's really bad. I think people have to understand, like, they have a common goal, and also I think they have to understand that, why are we fighting with each other? We're all citizens. We're all on the same boat. You know what I mean? When people running the show should be the enemy, we should be judging them. Okay? You understand? Lahat tayo nandito eh. Yung mga binoboto natin sa taas, they're not perfect. And bakit tayo yung nag-aaway? I think what we should think about is we should judge all of them on top. But the problem is because of that, kasi nung sa simula, sobrang intense natin, Dutertes, di ba? Or anti-Duterte, you know what I mean? Like, sobrang intense natin, at saka sa karakter ng mga tao na ganyan, yung mga nahilig magmura, ayaw na rin nila magbagong isip. Di ba? Parang nahihiya na sila na, pinost ko na kasi to dati eh.
Parang,
So parang
pinapanindigan na nila yung kanilang stance. Na
Yeah,
parang,
where they don't. Dude, you have every right to change your stance. It shouldn't be something that you're glued on forever. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't be judged for changing your stance. You should. If people started thinking about, like, the country more than whose side they'll be on, they'll have mas maganda yung pipiliin nila yung bobotohin nila. Mas maganda yung ano nila, yung pagdedesisyon nila kung sino yung bobotohin nila. 'Di ba? Hindi papapag-aralan nila kung ano ba talaga ginawa ng mga politikong ito. Hindi porket kumampi siya dito or kumampi siya doon. 'Di ba? Kailangan tama na yung boboto tayo ng ano eh.
Tsaka i-base nyo sa I think karamihan ng mga politicians natin, Pao, because they've been in power for a long time, you really have basis for your judgment eh, 'di ba? Tingnan mo yung senatorial slate natin, for example, Pao. Ang dami diyan mga talagang dati pang mga politician. Let's cite an example. For example, si Trillanes. I mean, on both sides, no, a lot of people hate his guts. Because if you think about if you think about his historical background and what he's done so far for the country, it's been very destructive. He occupied a hotel, tapos nanira siya doon, tapos magsusurrender siya, tapos bilang tumakbo pagka-senado, and then he wants to be a fiscalizer kuno, and then it's obvious that he only, he's championing just one agenda coming from one political ideology, and it's not even about the welfare of the people anymore. Because if it is, he wouldn't be so disruptive, di ba? He would just wait, try to pass laws that are going to be useful for the Filipino people, and then the judgment on his performance should be based on that, not because he is against a president or he's like showboating all the time at the Senate. Alam mo yun? So, dun pa lang dapat yung tao, pag pinag-isipan nila yung mga politician nila, ano bang pinanggagawa nito in the last few years na nasa Senado siya, nasa Kongreso siya, nasa, di ba, nasa Malacanang or sa aking syudad, kung mayor ba or governor. Ikaw pa.
It should be based on results, bro. Like, you have to understand that these guys are all playing a game. If you ask me, Ron, I don't trust any politicians, pare. I don't trust any of them. It's like, I base it on results. I'm friends with a few mayors who I really believe in, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I won't be mentioning names anymore or whatever, no, because I don't want to show people here that I'm promoting anyone. Okay, because I have
Oh,
a new stance, Ron. I promote the country. Okay, I
mm,
don't trust any of you guys. Seriously, if politicians are watching this, I don't trust you guys at all, man. It's like I trust results.
mm,
Okay, it's not even about the lesser evil anymore or that. It's like, dude, you are what I have to vote for. There's no one else there, and I want to see results. I want to see, you know what I mean? But like, I think that's how the population should feel. They should think. You know,
mm.
I don't want to be, ayoko nang ma-blindside tayo sa sino yung masikat, sino yung para sa mahirap, or kung sino yung mga, alam mo yun, it's like, wag tayo magpaloko sa mga ganyan na bagay. Wag tayo maging persuasible. Wag tayo madala sa mga fake news. Di
Mm.
ba? Strategy to ng lahat ng mga nangangampanya. Okay, wag tayo magpapaloko sa mga ganyan bagay. At
Saka
wag tayo mag-aaway-away sa
luma na
isa't
kasi
isa.
yan pa yung strategy na yan, yung divide and conquer, di ba?
Mm.
Pansinin mo,
Mm.
you would notice sometimes they would post fake accounts of certain individuals who support the government, and then they would sort of like create a steer na
Yeah.
na iba ipopost nila face of that personality, and they will say ito ang sinabi niya, tapos bigla magre-react yung kabila, tingnan mo, bobo ano na, hindi pala niya pinost yun. It's a fake account, but people share it anyway. And then the people who are operating on stuff like this, yung mga medyo ano rin mas ibang klase rin mag-isip. Gago rin mag-isip pa eh. Kaya
Oh
nanggugulo
yeah.
lang talaga sila. Their purpose is to really create confusion. You want
So
people.
that's what we have to watch out for, diba? That's what
Yeah.
people have to be educated on this, you know what I mean? And this should be educated by not one particular, side of politics. Like this has to come from something that's impartial. Yung
Mm,
parang yan yung gusto ko sana mangyari. I mean, on a personal level, being an ordinary citizen who wants the best for the Philippines, I want my business to thrive one day, Ron. I want to be able to continue to teach surfing. I want tourism to boom in this country. You know what I mean? I have faith. I have faith na kaya. But like, if you ask me to, like right now, like, people should start choosing the country. You know what I mean? Now, they should start get away from this disruption. Malaloko ka sa mga ganyang sinasabi mo, di ba? Yan yung mga ibang nanggugulo, di ba? Parang we need to get we need to get real facts firsthand, like, you know what I mean? And if I think my main point though, Ron, is stop hating on each other, because that clouds your vision and your
mm,
decision.
mm,
Why are you gonna hate someone who, at a personal level, diba, who's supporting another person that you're not in favor of? Where does that come from, diba? That person is just another ordinary citizen like yourself. That person faces the same challenges that you face. You know what I mean? You don't. Why are you gonna express yourself that way? Ba't ka magagalit ng todo sa mga tao na, alam mo yun? Pati nang namatay si Carlos Celdran, dude, that was so unfair, what people were saying. Even no matter what he said. So what if he said shit, di ba? Kung kilala mo si Carlos, that guy did a lot of good for the Philippines. You know what I mean? He single-handedly gave one of the best tours of history in Intramuros. I mean,
mm,
so some people may consider that he had his mistakes. Saying probably some nasty stuff about the current president, but
mm,
like the guy died, man. You know what I mean? Isn't that enough for you to know? So it's this kind of attitude. I think I'm coming from a psychological aspect. I think
mm,
of the way of thinking of people. Let's not be so aggressive. Let's think for the good, think positive, think for the good of the country, bro. That's yan yung gusto kong palabasin. Kasi kung medyo mas peaceful yung pag-iisip mo, at parang mas open-minded ka, di ba? Like kaya mo tanggapin na pati yung pinapush mo na politician, hindi perfect, di ba?
mm,
Kaya mong tanggapin yun. Scrutinize these fuckers on top, di ba? Like, you judge them. Sige, parang pag
mm,
binoto kita, putang ina, you better do your fucking job. Hindi yung,
mm.
binoto ko yun so supportahin ko yan all the way, paninindigan ko to. Di ba? So,
Kahit
can
na
you
mali na
imagine
yung
if it was like
ginagawa,
that?
no? Kahit mali-mali
Can
na
you
rin yung
imagine
sinasabi.
can you can you imagine if people weren't fighting with each other online? You know what I'm saying? But can you imagine if people weren't fighting with each other online, but together, sort of attacking the common enemy? Yeah, that's just really my 2 cents on this. I know you know what I mean. It's not as easy as it sounds, bro. But
The problem
I
kasi
think,
Pao,
yeah.
we cannot the reality on the ground is that we have certain groups, their philosophy or their ideology involves revolution. So for them, revolution has to be ugly. It has to be dirty. It has to be, violent. It has to be that. So
That's
that's why
funny.
it reflects in the discourse that you see on social media.
Are these
Bro,
guys millennials?
wag na tayo magbulaan pa, 'di ba? Ang totoong
Yeah.
to be realistic.
Millennial generation ba yung mga to, pare? Kasi parang,
Dude,
ah,
yung mga tinatawag nating aktivista kuno. And then yung mga yung uh, obviously meron tayong leftist na agenda, meron tayong mga tao na for 50 years has been trying to take over the government. Ang kanilang strategy talaga is to create noise. Talagang aawayin ka
no,
talaga. And kaso lang nagkaroon na,
kaya ako
ano,
sinasabi, kaya ako tinatanong kung millennials kasi parang sa Gen X, pare, Gen X or boomer generation, parang masyado na tayong pagod para mag-isip ng revolution, di ba? So parang I'm saying like kung mag-iisip ka ng revolution, you must be from a younger group para to even
di,
worry about that shit.
alam mo pa,
Oh god.
buti na napag-usapan natin yung revolution kasi meron naman tayong prior experience to revolutions, 'di ba? 1986
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
example of a
Nung
revolution
bata
of
pa
blood.
tayo.
Bloodless
Oh,
Revolution, 1986. People were so wow, in high spirits. We were thinking the future looks bright. I gotta wear shades. Alam mo yun, parang wow,
yeah,
galing
yeah, yeah.
na. We toppled the dictator. Cory Aquino is our savior. And then, the Philippines is gonna be great again. Whatever.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
and then 35 years later, bro, we're still in the same shit that we were in after during that revolution. So, guys, if the younger ones are listening right now, pardon us for being a little bit revolution. Meron tayong tawag dyan pa, medyo fatigued. Revolution fatigued.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Na
Well,
parang,
I think it's also age talaga, Ron, pare. It's also age, dude. Like, you know what they say, when in your 20s and 30s, you worry too much about what other people think, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And then in your 40s and 50s, you stop worrying about what other people think, okay?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then in your 60s and 70s, you realize people weren't even thinking about you
About
anyway
you.
to begin with. Okay, so it's the same thing with this. It's like when you're younger, push up, emotional ka pare, diba? You have your future to think about. You got the energy to revolt. At this age, bro, like today, I just want to chill, man. I want to kick back, you know, uh, do my best to fulfill my dreams and goals. I don't have time for a fight.
Actually, I've met some former activists who work now in government, pao, and I always tell them, you know what, you're doing the right thing because if you want revolution, it has to be bloodless and it has to be done smart, and the way to do that is to have more people who are reform minded to be part of government. That's the only way. You have to create a critical mass, diba?
Mhm.
Mahirap if you're gonna depend on people to change it for you. You have to do it yourself. So if itong mga activists, they like going to the streets. You have to question yourself. Why are you doing this? Are you there to topple the government because you feel that the only way to change things is to start from scratch? I don't think that's gonna happen. You know why? Because we had 1986 as a basis for something that didn't work. Diba? If you're gonna go through another revolution, I guarantee you will encounter the same types of people who will be running the show. So the most important thing there is to become, a vessel for change, be part of government, and then have enough people, change, have a proper turnover of the old folks who like the old ways of being corrupt, and have more young people come in who are more idealistic, and then not be corrupted by the
That's true.
system.
That's true. That's true. You know what I mean? It's like I'm actually really looking forward to that shift, bro. One
Mhm.
thing that I'm taking from what you just said also is, if you want change, don't bitch about it on the internet, bro. You know what I mean? Don't just
Yeah.
type it on the internet. Do something about it. If you want change, get off your butt, and work for it. And you know what I mean? If you wanna, you have a voice naman eh, kahit papaano, diba? Like I've been working with mayors in the province. I've been working with congressmen, with mayors in
Mm.
surfing locations, and
Mm.
it's instead of being angry with them, instead of blaming them all the time for this or accusing them, why not work with them and help
Mm.
educate them with you believe? You know what I mean? Believe it or not, they don't have all the ideas in the world to solve your problems.
Oh
Okay,
yes.
just because they're in the top there
And
doesn't
you
mean that
being
they are the. Okay, so like
and ano
you'll be
at
surprised
saka,
that. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Go
you'll be
ahead.
surprised. Go ahead, Pao. Continue your thought.
Yeah, you'll be surprised that if you're that they will listen. They will listen to your ideas. You know what I'm saying? No matter how corrupt they are, if you
At
have a
saka,
good idea, you
you
know.
know why politicians end up becoming corrupt is because people don't care. If people cared enough, their constituents actually cared enough in demand change, these politicians
Mhm.
will heed because they want to stay in power. Kaya pansinin ninyo, folks, no, pag sa Kongreso, kung ano yung mainit or trending sa social media na papag-usapan, bigla na lang, they'll mouth it off, they'll become champions for it. Because they're very dependent on what you think, on what you want to happen. And sometimes they're misguided. It happens sometimes na, they think this is a popular belief when, in fact, this is just coming from a small group of people who are just noisy. When the truth is,
Yeah.
the general population want changes. Diba? Like for example, let me cite an example here, Pawa. On this program, kasi we
Mhm.
discuss constitutional reform all the time. Because that's one of the promises of the president. He wants a federal form of government. He wants to change it into a. Actually, his dream is we become a parliamentary slash federal form of government because he thinks that's the best a system of government for an archipelagic type of country like
Mhm.
ours, diba?
Yeah.
We are ethnically diverse. So a great system would be something that sort of strengthen the uniqueness of each culture that is part of the country, empowering these regions and stuff like that. But it's the government is having a hard time pushing for these reforms. You know why? Because there's a small group of people who don't want to change the constitution, and their narrative all the time that they keep on, using the media as a loudspeaker so that to discourage people from supporting it is the fact that it's just about term extensions. This is cha-cha. Cha-cha is a bad word. So
Mhm.
you know where I'm coming from, Pao? If
Yeah.
people knew more and if they supported constitutional reform more, these congressmen and senators will all of a sudden take on that very important reform agenda because people are talking about it more. But since no one, or there's just a few who are pushing for it, they will disregard it and they'll say, you know what, the most important thing to do right now is the pandemic. We have to address the pandemic. When all these things you need to address now because in the near future, in the short and long term, you have to set up the proper system to to uh, overcome the adverse effects of the pandemic right now, 'di ba? So, yun lang. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Like right now though, like I don't see a. To be honest with you, Ron, I don't see what's planned out currently with the pandemic. I don't see where we're going. You know what I mean? The only thing I'm hoping for is like I don't even know like when this is gonna end. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about like I can see that people are getting vaccinated already. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? I can see that that's already sort of happening. Is it enough? I don't think so. Based on what I see on the news, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what news to watch anymore.
Let me try
Um,
to siguro pa let me try to to sort of crystallize or distill what the government is trying to do in this time. I know it's not ideal. The results seem like we're failing in addressing the pandemic, but I guarantee you that the government is doing all it can given the limited resources that we have and also the limitations of our manpower. Because you know what?
mhm,
No matter how grand or good the plan is, from the IATF level, for example, people who are the
mhm,
ones who are making the decisions, once you cascade these instructions or these policies down to the barangay level, it's a totally different story altogether. You know why?
yeah,
Because do
I can
we
see
have,
that. Man.
be honest, man, our barangay officials, I'm not saying all, because there are really good barangay
Bro, we had.
captains.
I
Diba?
see what you're talking about, man. I can see what you're talking about. We had one person who doesn't consider lugaw food, diba? Remember that? So I can see what they're dealing with, and that's why I'm not super. I mean, I'm the last person to really be super intensely
Yeah.
critical. I mean, I'm suffering business wise, but like I'd like to see a plan of what's gonna happen, and maybe it's difficult to come
Bro,
up with that plan.
there
You
has
know.
been a plan. They've been talking about it every day. Every
Hmm.
week, the president would come out. Obviously, the president is not the one enumerating everything that the IATF is doing. He's just there to sort of
Hmm.
like speak in plain speak, explain to the general masses, the one who understands that type of
Hmm.
language,
Yeah.
simplified version of what the government is doing, and that's how he is communicating with the general public. They're not speaking to you and me or the
Hmm.
AB upper C demographic,
Hmm.
because we would be expecting something different. We want something more technical. That's why sometimes people like you and me and other of our some of our friends who are against the government are expecting like a more detailed plan. But that's not gonna.
Hmm.
The president will not articulate that on his public announcements because he's speaking to a different crowd altogether. He's trying to assure the general population, look, everything is being taken care of. But you and me who want a detailed plan, we won't get that from the president. You can get that though. From
I'm just looking forward to the results of everything. You know what I mean? I just want people to finally shut up on like sana ito rin yung mangyari, Ron. Kung maganda talaga yung resulta, sana yung mga nagagalit ngayon ay matauhan. Then, 'di ba? Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, 'di ba? Yung mga sobrang nagja-judge ng todo ngayon, sana you know, pag nakita nila na mali pala sila, na may mabuti yung ikalalabasan ngayon ng mga ginagawa ng gobyerno ngayon. Sana, I mean, I hope they also make comments that are positive towards what efforts were made, right? I mean, it's so easy. Sana nga ganyan din. So I'm talking about both sides here, right? So, you know, that's just one thing that I want to just say again, once again, right? Like, be careful with what you say and how you judge online. Know all the facts first. You know what I'm saying? And if you're wrong,
Same thing that Ari said last night, and Ari is also apolitical. He doesn't want
yeah.
to get involved in anything that involves politics because he knows it can get ugly. But
And
he
I'm
did
just,
say,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I'm just, yeah. So Ari, yeah, man, like it's like that. Like you have to know all the facts and mahirap, but it's okay to make mistakes as long as you admit those mistakes, right?
Yon, tama.
Uh, you know what I'm saying? Like, and please stop fighting with each other, dude. Like,
Yeah, if you ask questions, be genuinely concerned. Hindi dahil you asking questions because you just want to be a smart ass. Kasi yung mga tao kasi alam mo, yung nakakainis, yung magtatanong sila ng question na meron na silang sagot dun sa question na yon. So they're being rhetorical. And then you know this kasi sanay ka na sa how conversations go, and then you understand where this person is coming from because his questions is being he's just being a prick about it, and then you
yeah,
comment
it's more of
siya.
like an ego fucking conversation versus
Diba?
like
And then if you
going to the point of
explain,
things.
Pao, they won't even remember what you said because they're very close minded about their opinion. They'll make you talk, but they'll not pay attention. They'll still insist that you're wrong. you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
most difficult part about the conversations the discourse that are happening on social media. If ako pa, siguro, let me try to explain in 30 seconds or 60 seconds siguro. The government has had the government
Yeah.
initially, obviously, was reacting to the pandemic early on last year because we didn't know what to do. To be honest with you, this is unprecedented.
Yeah.
The entire planet was put. We were on our knees. We weren't sure what would be the best recourse or action to take given the magnitude of the problem. So the government, like any government, we're really talagang kumakapa tayo in the beginning. But along the way, we learned, and then they came up with a plan. And the plan, of course, will involve mitigation. And mitigation involves reminding people, having a proper public information drive, telling people to start using masks, to do practice social distancing and whatnot. We cannot stop. That's part of the plan. And even if people say, puro paulit-ulit naman yun eh. Pero yun talaga
Hmm.
yung solusyon eh. Wala naman tayong magagawa
Yeah.
sa pandemya, sa COVID-19 kasi wala pang ang gamot. Wala tagang gamot. Vaccine lang yung dinidevelop. And the problem with the vaccine, it takes a long time for you to test it before you can use it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
it has to go through a process. The problem also, Pao, sometimes people criticize the government. Why is it such a slow rollout? And then you have other countries who are way ahead of us. Because you
Hmm.
cannot compare each country with each other, no, because of the fact that, first of all, culturally, we're different from other countries. Other countries are more compact. You have Singapore, who's a
Hmm.
smaller country than ours, right?
Yeah.
Indonesia had a hard time in the beginning, and now they're coping. Everybody is trying. The important thing to really think about here is the government, as the government, at any time, kahit na corrupt pa yung gobyerno na yan, they will try their best to make sure that the people don't suffer. Kasi sila rin naman nanagot. So for you
Hmm.
to think na parating they're just being negligent is just stupid. Because for a fact, 24/7, these people are trying their best to make things happen.
To
And when
solve
it
the
comes
problem. Yeah.
to solve the problem. So, Pao,
Yeah.
ito yan eh. Yung first part ng plan is to mitigate, make sure that we don't have that COVID-19 doesn't spread, too much to a large population. So we have lockdowns, we have the ECQ, MECQ, because that's the only way we can deal with, given the fact that that Filipinos are generally very sociable and very family oriented.
Oh
We
yeah.
like
Oh
we
yeah.
like to hang out with our friends, and matitigas pa talaga ulo. Kaya pag sinabi nila, bakit ang Taiwan, bakit ang Singapore? Doon kasi, pag ginawa mo yung bawal, talagang you'll get punished. Dito sa Pilipinas, pag ginawa mo yung bawal, anong mangyayari sa'yo?
That's
Wala.
true. That's so true. Alam mo sa totoo lang, that's so true. Panoorin mo lang yung mga nagva-viral na yung mga Karen natin dito. Alam mo yung mga yon, yung mga lumulusot sa checkpoint. Sinasampal na nila yung mga pulis. Hindi pa nila aresto. Diba? You've
Di
seen
ba?
those videos.
Pag nakita mo yung mga video sa Amerika, nakakatakot, di ba? Yung pulis parang, uy, pag hinuli ka ng pulis, oh my gosh,
Oh,
delikado ka, baka pwede ka pang
oh, as in,
mamatay. Di
like
ba?
you can't even call police names a name. You can't even curse at a cop in the States.
Yeah, here,
Dito, dito,
grabe, lakas ng ibang klase.
diba? Kinakampas na sa,
So,
you're just
tapos
you're just wondering. Yeah, yeah.
kaya nga pag sinasabi, I see people arguing against that, sabihin nila, oh, bakit tao kami, ano naman, sisihin mo naman ang Pilipino. Bakit yung gobyerno? Sinasabi ko nga, I was telling Ari last night, government is only as good as its people, because the people you elect in government come from the same tribe. They come from the same pool. We are the government comes from, our communities. They're the ones we elect. So whatever your predisposition as a government official is, their orientation on serving, or their incapability, or their incompetence siguro, dahil din sa atin yun eh. Kasi inelect natin yung mga tao na yan into government. So, if there's one thing that has to change, it has to change from talagang it has to be
Oh yeah.
wholesale. Diba?
Yeah,
Kaya,
that's true. That's really true. That's why nga kaya nga yung sinasabi ko rin na dapat nga from the people, 'di ba? It has to be from the people. And that backs up what I'm trying to say about you shouldn't be fighting with each other as a people. You know what I'm saying? Because you want the common good. And yeah, that's true, man. That's so true. Like I said, like I've worked with politicians, I've worked with people in government, especially with the agencies like the Department of Tourism, diba? And it's been fantastic. I've had a beautiful, a lot of beautiful things have come about with working with these people. So that's one thing that that's great that we're having this conversation, and I hope a lot of people are listening in on this, and I hope we're also making sense to
actually,
these people.
we
You
can
know,
get we can get a sense of how people think about our conversation just by reading some of them. Si Benj Joaquin, sabi niya, this government is commissioned to a particular purpose or end. The government is still doing fine. Only the reproachers, LP loyalists, and all other opportunists kept on deluding the public. This administration completely is a failure. PRRD's time is well chosen time. Yun ang problema, Pao. Especially kasi I believe social media is just a group of echo chambers. You know, the way the platform is designed is you have a set of friends, family, former classmates in your group, and that's what you see on your feed. And that's your echo chamber right there. If people who are against the government or majority of your friends are against the government, that's all you're going to see on your social media feed. And sometimes, without you noticing it, you get influenced by that. And you
oh
think,
yeah,
oh gosh, if you see parati na lang like five people constantly bombarding you with messages, negative messages about the government, you will also, if you're apolitical, kunyari, wala kang
yeah.
pakialam, and then you see that all the time on your social media page or your feed, pati ikaw you probably think, pucha, wala siguro talagang ginagawa ang government. Bakit ang dami
That's very
nagrereklamo?
true. That's
And that's
very
a,
true. And
right?
that's yeah.
That's
Aminado
your
ako
echo
dyan,
chamber
pare.
right there. Ay,
Oh,
coming out. Coming
oh. Aminado ako dyan, pare. Di ba? Like that's basically advertising. That's basically what I watched in The Great Hack on Netflix as well. Na talagang sinadya nilang ganyan. Tinarget nila yung mga persuadables,
Yes,
di ba?
persuadables, bro.
But in this case, since I mean, you're right. I mean, a majority of your contacts are posting this shit about, diba? So of
It,
course, obviously, you'll be influenced by that. That's just just a natural human reaction of
diba, if you are
yeah,
bombarded by comments or suggestions that ivermectin is like effective, you'd start thinking, man, ivermectin, I should probably take that because everyone's taking it, even though you're only getting like five people from your feed saying the same thing, right? But
yeah,
hindi naman kasi tayo, we're not thorough when it comes to investigating stuff because we're tamad that way, diba? If
yeah,
five
yeah,
people will
yeah.
tell me, "Oy, that's probably the universe right there." Five people telling me that it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
But
At least wala silang kuto, di ba? That's the only thing that's 100% sure that ivermectin will do for you, bro. Get rid of heartworm and kuto.
oh, bitaw. Oh
So,
nga, no? Sa bagay, if that's the worst thing that could happen to you, siguro you won't get cured for COVID, but at least you won't have worms.
yeah. Oh man, Ron, you know what though? Like I just came back from like Zambales, to help out with the because we're gonna be going back to like to the to what's happening on the grounds for me, right? Like like I said, I was hoping. I hope there's a plan. I hope there's this because we don't know. And to be fair, like what you said, like they're doing the best they can, right? That one I can believe, and I also believe that they are doing the best they can because they want to solve the problem.
Sure.
Okay, but like of course, like there's no clear plan. I wish there was something clearer, but like I can't also. I'm not also blaming them. Not that, I
The
mean, they
problem,
don't.
I think, Pao, the best way to answer your concern is that a pandemic, a a really good drawn out plan is not. I'm not saying it's impossible to do, but because things are fluid at the moment, plans can change.
Mhm.
So when you come up with a plan, it's not, it's
Yeah.
not set in stone. It has to change over time. That's why
Yeah.
sometimes you
Yeah.
feel like, why are they changing all of a sudden the policies? Because you cannot just be stuck with one policy because things are changing. The like for
Yeah,
example,
yeah. Well,
the
even
recent.
even Fauci, even Fauci in the States, right? They asked
No,
him, "When are we going to be able to take off our mask? When are we going to be able to do that?" And he's like, "I don't know. We can't tell." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah. So
Okay, the problem here, Pao, is this is so dependent on cooperation. It's so dependent because the virus, the nature of COVID-19 is that one idiot can infect a whole household. Can you imagine that? So if and you cannot control idiots or being idiotic. That's the
mhm.
problem. So if someone decides, you know what, this is not for me, I don't believe in COVID, I'm just gonna go out and mingle, diba?
Yeah.
I'm single and I want to mingle. I don't
I'm
care.
gonna put
I'm
on
not
my
gonna worry.
MAGA hat. Put on my MAGA hat and go have a party.
So no
Diba?
matter how
True.
the government is planning this shit out, you have like all these scientists saying, okay, we got to do this, we
Yeah.
got to do that. It only takes one idiot to blow everything up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the
So
problem.
can
It's
we
so
just
people dependent.
I like how you're calling them idiots, no? But let's just be fair to those who are actually just uneducated about it. Guys, kung may isang lagnat ka ngayon, kung magkasipon ka at malagnat ngayon, please lang, seryosohin mo, baka COVID yan. Isipin mo
Uh,
na kaagad, ha? Wag ka nang mag-take ng chance. Wag ka nang maging in denial na wala to, sipon lang to, ubo lang to. Please, siguraduhin mo, kung meron kang nararamdaman na simptomas, pues magtago ka sa kwarto mo at magpa-check up ka na kaagad. And Ron, pare, to be fair, you could get a free swab test. People are complaining about how expensive this is. You can get a free swab test. You can get a free eclea test. If you have symptoms, call up your municipio. You'll be surprised at how fast they are. You
yeah,
will get a free swab test. You will get a free eclea test.
this
And
is where
yeah,
this is what
yeah.
I'm saying, Pao. The government is trying, and
Mm-hmm.
the LGUs even more. You know why they have to step up because it's election year 2022, bro. This is the best time to gauge whether or not your local
Oh
official
yeah.
is not up to par, bro.
Uh,
If he's not doing his
uh,
job, you would know right now in this pandemic.
that's so true, bro. That's so true, man. But yeah. So at least pare, like ngayon, parang nakikita natin, di ba? Medyo slowly, gradual bumababa yung mga cases natin sa Manila.
Oh,
I think
bumaba na.
towards the end of the surge.
We reached around 15,000 a day yata 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos ngayon nasa
Mm-hmm.
parang, if not mistaken, mga 7 to 8,000 na lang. So bumagsak na
Yeah.
talaga. Bumagsak na yung ano.
Okay.
It doesn't mean though that we have to be complacent because
Oh no, I mean,
what made it worse, Pao, is the variants talaga. I think there's the new variants kasi are more
infectious.
infectious
They're more
So
infectious. Yeah.
dapat extra ingat tayo. And you know what, Pao? Sabi ko sa'yo, I think I think San Miguel is already taking on this policy. Bawal na ngayon na makipag-usap na walang mask even during lunchtime. Kasi you know what? Generally, most of the transmission happens in conversations between people who know each other. So if you are with friends, family,
Well,
and then
put it
and
this
it's
way. Put it this way. Since the beginning of the pandemic, kasama ko yung tatay ko dito sa bahay, di ba? Hindi ako, bihira ako pumasok sa kwarto niya. Talagang nakamask ako, todo, alcohol, my hands, if I have to go in, But other than that, we have not eaten together. Even with the help, I don't eat with them. I eat in my room. It's just the new normal for us, and so thank God it's been pretty safe. My dad's been safe, and everybody at home has actually been. No one's gotten seriously ill or had to go to the hospital or die. So, so a lot to be thankful. Oh yeah, one more thing, Ron. Um, Yeah, so that's one thing I want to share also. Like, despite losing businesses, despite losing, you know what I mean, getting a drastic shift of lifestyle from what we had before,
Yeah.
I have to admit that a lot of good things have happened because of this pandemic, both psychologically and also both career wise,
Okay.
right? So, like I told you, my friends have actually come up with new businesses that are actually thriving.
They
Because of the pandemic, they lost great businesses prior to that, but
they
now they're,
pivoted and then they
yeah,
diversified. Mm.
they pivoted. The fact that a lot of people moved to the province and are actually going to stay there now. I bet you, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at least 50% of these people who decided to relocate to the provinces, because of the pandemic, aren't coming back to Manila because
Yeah.
life is so beautiful there.
Oh
And
yeah.
if they're
Oh
able
yeah.
to establish themselves there and make a living there, that's fantastic. I myself have. I started teaching English to Chinese, bro. On
Okay.
I teach English pronunciation to Chinese. I'm surprised at how much I get paid to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Nice,
I
bro.
get paid three times the amount of money I get paid usually from teaching a surfing lesson. And I don't have to get wet and I'm in front of my computer and I can teach anywhere in the world there's Wi-Fi. So
Nice.
pivot stuff have pivoted, Ron. Stuff, so you know what I mean? And like, what I like about this whole thing is like the fact that people are leaving Manila and realizing how awesome it is to be in the province. Yan yung gusto kong i-share ngayon na, guys, umalis na kayo sa lungsod na to. You know what I mean? Alam mo, dati pa, Ron, pag nagta-travel
Mm.
ako, Siargao ako palagi, di ba? Dati, Siargao ako palagi.
Mm. Yeah.
Tapos nami-meet ko yung mga foreigners ko. Tapos tinatanong nila sa akin, where are you from? Tapos sasabihin ko, Manila. And you live here in Siargao? Oh, I wish. I'm just on vacation. Why do you live in Manila? It's the ugliest part of your country. And he's absolutely right. They're
Yeah.
absolutely right. When I have, you know what I mean, Ron? Pag mag-travel ka, pumunta kang Thailand, punta kang sa mga, punta ka sa mga, alam mo yung Koh Samui, yung magagandang beaches sa Thailand, punta ka sa Bali. Pag ano
Mm.
nasa isip mo nandun, parang sarap naman ang buhay nila dito. You never hang out primarily in Jakarta or Bangkok, right? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it was, and the fact that you're in the Philippines, you have every right and resource to be able to transfer to the province, man, where it's,
You have
you
like
know,
7,000 islands to choose from. Right?
exactly.
I
And
know.
guess what? I have friends who are making a killing living in these provinces, dude.
Oh yeah?
Making a
Talaga?
killing with their businesses. Like, dude, La Union, look at La Union, man. Look at Siargao, bro.
Mm.
Look at how, well the businesses there are doing. You know what I mean? Like, of course, now tourism's at an all-time low, but guess what, dude? They've tapped into the local markets of those
Mm.
locations, right?
Mm.
It's like you're bringing, you're bringing like high quality food dishes, international dishes. Like us, we're bringing brick oven, Napolitan style pizza to a place, Liu Liwa, Sitio Liu Liwa in San Felipe, Zambales. Diba? Parang, and now it's made
Galing,
available
galing.
to these people. And like, if you go to La Union, for example, man, it's so nice there now with all the nice restaurants that you can eat at. One thing also, Ron, that's changing that I want to share is since now that resorts aren't allowed to operate, and in some provinces like Zambales, super strict sila, pare. Like, you can't accept guests who aren't residents of Zambales, which is why Zambales has low COVID cases. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They're very strict about that. So, like, right now, what's happening is, and even for other provinces, people are moving into houses and homes, and even some resorts are changing na. You know what I mean? They're not operating as resorts anymore. They're
Mm.
operating now as private entities accepting long-term stays. You know what I
Okay.
mean? They're renting. They're like apartments now. Like, you can
Mm.
rent, and it's cheap, bro. It's cheap. You can get a two-bedroom house in San Felipe
Ah.
for 8,000 pesos a month with
Oh
a
yeah?
parking lot. We're talking about 500 square meter property, bro. You know what I
Whoa.
mean? You're talking about a 500 square meter property with 2 bedrooms, a garden, a big kitchen, a big sala, and that's 8,000 pesos a month, dude. And that's it's like a less than 5 minute drive to the beach. You could ride a bicycle to the beach if you wanted. The internet's available. There's Converge already sa bayan. There's already like there's two internet providers already in the area. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, if that's possible, then why not? Why not just move? So that's what I like that's happening because people are moving. Sa La Union ata, mga siguro abot na ng 100 yung mga lumipat doon from Manila since
For
the pandemic.
people 100 people that you know left
Not I
Manila.
know personally, but I definitely know at least 20 people who've moved to La Union. And then in Zambales, it's the same thing. It's like, man, I mean, grabe na doon, Ron. Like, ang dami nang lumipat. Ang dami na talagang lumipat. And they have such nice lives there, dude. They have such nice lives. Can you imagine? They go to work in their kubo that has aircon and Wi-Fi. And then they go, you know what I mean? They go to the beach, sunset, watch the sunset. Right now, bawal na
Galing.
mag-swimming. Pinagbawalan ng mayor mag-swimming ngayon, no? Dahil nga may surge sa Manila, di ba? So, gusto nilang
Iwas.
may mga dagdag din na konting cases kasi sa province ng Zambales. So, he wants to be actually San Felipe pinaka-stricto eh. So, totoo lang, yes. Miski bawal mag-swimming, pwede ka naman tumambay sa beach. You know what I mean? Open air and
Pero mukhang okay yung mayor niya sa Zambales
yeah,
where you stay.
Leo Ferrales that's his name, Mayor Leo Ferrales. Yeah, man, he's very strict, and you have a lot of the resort owners complaining. I don't blame them. I haven't made a single cent. I've been spending money because of having zero income. But like now, it's making me transition. Why not focus on yung mga locals, diba? They can afford my pizza. Maraming mga may pera sa Zambales, pare. Maraming ang lalaki kaya ng mga ibang bahay doon. Ang gaganda ng mga kotse. Saan sila nagpupunta? Pumupunta silang Subic sa Extremely Espresso para bumili ng pizza, diba? So, may market siya. And yan din yung nangyayari sa La Union. Yung dati, kinikater namin yung target market namin yung mga taga Manila. Diba? O kaya mga foreigner. Diba? Sila yung kakain ng brick oven pizza mo, pare. Sila yung bibili ng 250 peso cocktails mo, diba? Or yung 150 peso Americano mo, diba? Na coffee. The thing is, we totally took for granted that there's a local market. And ito pa, nung nag-lockdown, pati yung mga local market na yan started hanging out at the beaches in their own province. Diba? It opened up their eyes also. Hey, we can go to the beach here, right where we live. Why don't we go and check it out? Tapos yun, na-discover nila na may mga establishments na bago. So yun nga, like Liwa, it's Liwa, Ron, I can't wait to take you there. And I'm so glad that you're here in Manila, bro. Because
yeah, bro.
I can actually drag your ass over there, especially pag nagbukas na, pare. Mag-i-enjoy kayo dun. Para siyang, alam mo yung Poblacion Makati, maraming mga quirky bars, ganyan nagbukas.
Yeah.
Ganun na ganun siya, pero nasa beach ka. Okay, minus the Japorms kind of thing. But like it's like that. Maraming maliit na establishments katulad namin na nagbukasan na may sarili-sariling mga and lahat eco-minded. Ganyan siya, parang ganun. And budding surf town siya. And so like that's why don't I live there, bro? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why don't
It's
I
like
live there on a more, diba?
a permanent basis. Yeah, I get that. I think it's really high time. One thing that we can learn from this pandemic is that we should consider living outside of Metro Manila.
We shouldn't consider. We should move outside of Metro Manila and
decongest the damn thing.
Decongest the damn city and rid yourself of that life-sucking lifestyle of having to drive an hour and a half to get to work and also an hour and a half to get back home through traffic when you can have a better quality of life in the province and help that province and you know what I mean at the same time. And like, yeah, that's really it, bro. And like, to be honest, Ron, like the only reason why I'm still here in the city is because I like to, I'm watching out for my dad. I wish I could just move my dad out of here, man. And then move to the province, set up some like nice Airbnb for him there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or just even just a house, man, for him to
Mm,
retire in. But also the businesses that I still have here, bro. You know what I mean?
mm,
Iniisip ko rin yung mga staff ko dito, pare. Alam mo,
mm,
I have staff. One of my oldest businesses is a water refilling station at the heart of Ortigas, no,
mm.
and Ortigas Center, and I've had that for over 21 years, 21 years, and like dati nagrereklamo ako palagi sa Manila, bakit ganyan ang traffic. Tapos isang beses napilitan ako mag-commute dahil pinaayos ko yung van ko sa May Taytay, katabi ng surf shop ko, 'di ba? Napilitan ako mag-commute ng rush hour. At doon ko naramdaman ang rush hour commute, pare. Na talagang yung bus, walang pila, siksikan kayo to get in the bus. Pagdating mo sa bus, nakatayo ka sa gitna ng aisle, wala kang paghawakan at hindi mo rin naman kailangan humawak sa kahit ano dahil or sumabit sa kahit ano dahil hindi kayo gagalaw dahil para kayong sardinas. 'Di
Mm.
ba? And doon ako nagkarespeto sa mga alam mo yun, hindi na ako nagreklamo about Manila again. Kasi kung alam mo lang yung mga dinadaanan ng yung
Everyday
mga
people.
workers. Yeah,
Everyday
bro.
workers. Yeah.
It's intense. So, if I were you, you guys listening, all the OFWs, don't invest in Manila, bro. Invest in your province.
Yes.
Invest in your province. If you live in a beach, a beautiful beach, dude, trust me, Airbnb, usong-uso yan ngayon. Alam mo yun? So invest in something beautiful in your hometown. Don't invest in the city. We don't need any, but the city is ugly. It's gross. Alam mo yun? So yeah, that's one thing I want to do. I want people to move out. If you are a work from home operator, if you can, you know what I mean? God, the founder of Kumu lives in Boracay for some reason, right?
Galing,
Like,
no?
yeah,
That's
dude.
life,
Like,
bro.
yeah, if you're a graphic artist, if I have got a neighbor in Liuliwa. He became my student in in Philippine Surfing Academy. No, natuto siya mag-surf dito sa Taytay. Next thing I know, lumipat siya ng Liuliwa, bumili ng lupa na maliit, nagtayo ng bahay, tapos nagre-rent siya ng mga tents for camping. But he's an IT guy. He works at night.
Galing,
So,
galing.
para siyang may mini call center doon sa Liuliwa, 'di ba? And he
Yeah,
lives in paradise, pare.
I've been telling people nga, Pao, the way to go would be, how can you have a skill that you can use online? Because that's the place to be, especially at a time like this. If you need to learn new skills, this would be the best time while you're at home. There are online lessons. You can always learn it at home. And if you
Yep.
before you know it, you'd be like editing on Photoshop or using Adobe Premiere, and then you'd
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
people.
exactly. I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah, then
dude,
people will
everything's
hire
there.
you.
Dude, my pizza tastes great. I'm not just saying that. And I learned that by studying 5 or 6 videos on YouTube. I am a YouTube chef, bro, and I'm proud of it,
Galing,
man. And
galing, galing,
you know what I
galing,
mean?
man.
Like, talaga, seryoso, dude. And and we got it now. You know what I mean? You can't just believe one video. You got to really research. But it's that easy. I didn't spend a single cent for that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, lahat matutunan. And never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to be teaching English to Chinese. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd be doing that. And it's
There's a person we met somebody last year, pal, who guested on this blog. Also, she manages a resort in I forget which one. I think in somewhere up north, but she did was while the resort was closed, she taught Chinese children English, and she
online.
was yeah, online. She was able to manage.
See?
While while there wasn't any activity happening at the resort, so she
Yep.
diversified. She learned a new skill. She never knew that she could do something like that, like like
Yeah.
your experience there.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think a lot of resorts should be doing this. Actually, I think a lot of resorts should be because they're very strict, and naturally they should be. The LGUs really have to stop tourism. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
have to stop tourism. So what can these resorts do? one solution, which I think is safe, absolutely safe, is long term rentals. You know what I mean? Long-term room rentals for people who are actually going to move there for at least 3 to 6 months, or indefinitely until this shit show of a pandemic is over. Right? They
Okay.
people who can work, and actually you can help those resorts have income even just to survive. Kasi syempre mas maliit talaga yung kita nila kung monthly yung rental mo, di ba? I mean, yung isang kwarto namin dati was like 3-5 a night, di ba? So isipin mo, we'd rent that out 3 nights a week. Malaki yun kung yung monthly mo total, di ba? But like, of course, kung magiging long-term rental siya, kailangan mo babain yung presyo para parang apartment siya ng probinsya, di ba?
Tama.
But at least mabubuhay yung resort mo.
Correct.
Yan yung dapat na, I think people are working on that right now. I think the Department of Tourism is also working on that right now, because that makes it safer. Kasi at least hindi siya guest na pabalik-balik na alam mo yun, delikado. Ito, bago makapasok, kailangan kompleto yung testing, kompleto yung dokumento. Magka-quarantine pa yan pagdating dyan. 'Di ba? Sa probinsya. So I think that's what's happening now. I think resorts
And
should
man,
convert.
the lowest life form siguro to do something as stupid as faking their results. Yun yung we I don't know what to call you anymore, because that only goes to show that, first of all, the reason why you're faking your documents, you're faking your results is either you have COVID, or you don't give a shit what the
Oh, yeah.
consequences are of your actions. Kaya
Alam mo,
ano,
I really smile. It makes me so happy to see people go to jail for that when you see it on the news. I get really happy.
anyway,
Diba?
Pao, let's say goodbye properly to some of our viewers who stayed with
Okay.
us in the last almost a couple of hours already
Almost
hanging out.
2 hours, man.
Galing. I knew that you're gonna see a lot of sensible stuff on here. Dito sa Istoryang
I hope
Futbolero,
so.
Pao.
I hope it was entertaining enough for people. I hope that I learned a lot from you, Brad. I learned a lot from you from this conversation. So thanks a lot for having me, man.
I know you're also trying to set up your own blog. So in the meantime, you're free to join me on Istoryang Futbolero, bro. If you have the time.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll be definitely bugging you about some technical stuff and advice that I might need. So
Sure,
yeah,
man.
and for everybody out there, yeah, you can see how I like to talk. I like to talk as much as Juan does, and we're very chill. We're very open. We don't hate. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no hating on the
thanks.
show, man. The only time
Yeah,
we
yeah.
hate on people is when they actually hate on other people. That's
And when they fake their COVID test to get through boundaries, man. Those guys are fun to hate on, dude.
Thank you so much to Dominic Solpico, si Alric Cahucom, Lorimer Redaha, Edith Fuchs, also to some of our viewers from the other group who's saying hello. Somebody from Qatar, Marlene Pinolbo, thank you so much for watching.
Wow.
Eunice Lawrence is listening all the way from Massachusetts, but her hometown is Siargao. Oh, galing, eh?
Wow.
Galing,
Awesome.
galing
Yeah.
ba?
Yeah.
Cecil Rosales is watching from Hong Kong. Also, we have Benj Joaquin. He says, it's a long message, pal. Let me just read it so that
Okay, go ahead.
we can properly acknowledge his effort in sending this. Also, news organizations do us no favors by trying to report slanted stories or deliberately control the quantities of stories in order to shape opinion. We also have a problem with the truth in this country. It's viewed as fluid, so something has to change to get truth front and center. People are misled because by a one-sided and fabricated journalism. So there have been complaints about our mainstream media, pal. We can't blame
True that.
some people getting disappointed, or they don't even they take it with a grain of salt every time they see a headline that's pretty slanted. When
And you have
read-
very intelligent people noticing this, such as that viewer. And you know what I mean?
Correct.
So I'm learning. I really like that we had this conversation and we get to listen to everybody. May mga taga Bisaya, mga Bisayas dyan or Davao, bay?
Naabay. Nagyod. Mga taga Davao. Naagi naminaw diya. From Davao, from Cebu. Also, Mercy Lagan, thank you so much for watching. Homer Espiritu, who says 1986 revolution is a fake revolution. Vanessa Rageb, Adrian Tepez, also si Oscar Pagdanganan. Thank you for hanging out. Si Marisol Gloriani and Randall Flores, who's also a fellow Pasigueño, Paolo. And Cecilio Alenra. Si Angelo Romualdez is he a friend of yours? He says Fun Paolo is an understatement, according to him. And Joel Villiger and Alex Louie. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Irma Garcia from Mati City. Brian Obando Glampix is from Davao. Alric Cahucom is from Tacloban. Oh, kompleto pala tayo dito eh.
Maupay.
Maupay. Si Leia De La Torre is from Sweden. Oh, solid, bro. So thank you guys for
awesome,
watching.
man.
Paul, go ahead and for your final words, probably promote again your resort, your business.
Yeah, well, okay. So first of all, chill out with the EDSA revolution. It's a fake revolution. That's what we were talking about, like on the show earlier. Can you chill with the hate, dude? You know what I mean? Like I said, let's keep things positive. We're on the same team, no? Magkababayan tayo, dapat tayo yung magkakampi. Okay. In terms of like promoting my business, like dude, like lumipat na kayo lahat sa Zambales.
Yeah.
Kung kayo po ay nagwo-work from home, lumipat kayo doon. Marami mga bahay sa bayan na sobrang mura. Lumipat kayo, maganda yung beach doon, maganda yung wifi staff, may wifi na doon, lahat. Sobrang mura lang ng bilihin. Yan. We're still closed as a restaurant, but we plan to open soon, like once the pizza's ready, pare. You know? And
we should
other than that,
pizza,
there's
bro.
not much to promote, pare. sorry, come again.
Okay,
You
Pao,
gotta try the
basta
pizza.
no problem, ma'am. I'm looking forward to that, Pao. I hope to get you back here as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun having you on Istoryang Futbolero. Maria Lourdes Suarez from Cagayan de Oro is watching. Pirme. She watches Pirme daw sa Buhay ang mga Bisaya. Si Maria.
Buhay good.
Buhay
And then
good.
follow me on Instagram, I guess. You know, wala akong TikTok dahil masyado na akong tito para sa TikTok. Pero follow me on Instagram. It's just Paolo Manuel Soler. That's simple. Paolo with an O, bro. So Paolo Manuel Soler. That's it, dude. Yeah.
Cool. Don't forget to follow the basic habang wala pang kuna, ladies and gentlemen. You should be open to getting your vaccine soon. The government is trying their best to get everybody vaccinated. But in the meantime, please follow basic health standards. Tama pa, di ba? Wear your mask. Mask hugas,
up, guys.
Iwas. Di ba? Mask, hugas,
Huwag kayo kumain
iwas.
sabay-sabay.
Tama. At pag sabay-sabay kayo mag-mask kayo kung makipagkwentuhan. Hindi maiwasan na sabay-sabay kayong kumain, huwag kayong makipagkwentuhan kung wala kayong mask. Okay, kain lang muna, wala mo nang kwentuhan. Tapos pagtapos kain, mask pag magkukwentuhan na kayo para sigurado tayo. No.
Huwag kayo matakot na mag-vaccine. Huwag kayo maniniwala sa mga fake news, ha?
Tama.
Magpabakuna kayo as soon as you have the opportunity. Kahit anong klaseng vaccine. Nako, sa totoo lang, lahat gumagana. So guys, get vaccinated. Please, gusto ko na maging normal tayo ulit lahat.
Tama. Para enjoy ulit tayo. Maganda tayo. Pwede natin bisitahin si Paolo sa Zambales.
Oh. Man.
All right, bro. Have a good one, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. We'll catch you again soon.
Man. Thanks for the insights, bro. Thanks for the wonderful conversation. Thanks for the opportunity to voice out my feelings. And man, more power to you and Istoryang Futbolero, bro. That's super cool, man. Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone. Bye. Good night.
Stay safe.